Good morning, Year 2, and welcome to our next shared reading session. Now, this morning we are going to be looking at the next 2 pages in our book. Now, here are those 2 pages for you to have a quick look at. Now, to start with, we're only going to have a look at this page here. So it's the page with this funny looking building on it and all of the people. Now, what I'd like you to do is to pause the video in a few seconds and just have a think about what you can see, the colours that you can see, and how it makes you feel. Now, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to set out my thoughts in a table like this. Okay, if it helps you, you are more than welcome to draw this out in your book. But don't worry if not, you can keep all of these ideas in your head if you would like to. So pause the video now, have a good look at our first picture, which is this one here. Think about what you can see, the colours that you can see, and how this page is making you feel. Off you go. Okay, so hopefully you've got some really good ideas and you've been able to think about what you can see, the colours that you can see and how it makes you feel. Now I'm just going to fill in my chart just to give me a bit more of an idea as to what I can see. So in that picture I can see lots and lots of men. Okay, they're all walking towards the same place, it looks like. I can see a very large building. I can see a tower, and out of this tower it looks like there's lots of smoke. I can see a fence, and I can also see what looks like some sort of track. Okay, right, colours. The colours I can see. Now, they're not really very bright. They're all a little bit drab. I can see like a grey sky. I can see lots of beige, a little bit of yellow, but it's like a dull yellow. It's not a really bright yellow. There's some different colours on the clothes of the men who are walking around, but mainly it's white, it's grey, I can see some beige, and I can also see some brown. It's a little bit depressing, to be honest. Oh, I think I might write that one here in my feelings. It's not making me feel very happy. I've got to say, it's making me feel a little bit depressed, a little bit glum, a bit sad. And looking at these men and the way that they're walking, some of them are really hunched over as they're walking around with their shoulders right up to their necks. And it makes me think they might be a little bit tired. They do all look a little bit tired. Okay, if we look at our next page, which is just here, we've got some writing. And we've got all of the men that were walking towards that big building over there. They're all sat on what looks like some sort of little cart or track. It's like a little railway and it looks like they're all going down. Now they've all got hard hats on and it looks like they've all got lights on the front of their hard hats. And they're all very tightly packed together, aren't they? Now the writing says, "My father is a miner, and he works under the sea, deep down in the coal mines." Okay, so now we know where father or dad, where he works. We know where all these men were going, and we know now why they have to wear helmets and lights on the front of their helmets. Now that's because they are going deep down under the sea into a coal mine. So just pause the video for a minute and have a think about what it might be like deep down under the sea in a coal mine. Well, I don't suppose any of you have actually been down a mine, and I haven't either, but I have been in a cave when I went on holiday once, and the cave was very, very dark. Now, a cave is usually very big and it feels very open, even though it is deep down underground. Now mines are a little bit different, and I think the mines are going to be very close together and quite small. So the men all might feel quite cramped and quite squashed together. And there won't be any windows underground, so it will be very, very dark. And that's why they've got to have these lights on their helmets. Okay, it might also be very, very dirty. It looks like dirty work, and they're going to be digging as well, aren't they, in this mine? So it's very, very dark, very dirty. It's going to be very squashed and very cramped together, and there's not going to be any windows. So you can imagine how that might feel. Well, pause the video now and just have a think about how that might make you feel. Well, it would definitely make me feel very hot. I might feel a bit tired very quickly if it's no windows and it's very dark and we're all close together. Very dirty, and I think very quite sad really, and maybe a bit gloomy and a little bit glum. I think I'd have to speak to my friends quite a lot to try and keep me quite happy about things, and see if we could chat about nice things whilst we were underneath the sea digging in that mine. I think it might be quite loud as well in the mine. If all of these men have got their toolboxes with them and they're all digging and hitting rocks, I think it's going to be quite loud. Lots of clanging noises, like metal noises. Okay, so the two pictures that we've looked at today are in some ways very, very different to the front cover that we looked at last week. But in some ways, you might think they are also a little bit the same. So your job for today is to make a list of all those things that you think are similar and all those things that you think are different. Have a look at this chart here. Okay, we've got both pictures there and there. And here we've got number one. How are these illustrations of the same town the same but different? So what I need you to do is to have a think about all of those things we've just said about this picture and see how they compare, how they are the same or different to this picture here. Now, I only need 3 things that are the same and 3 things which are different. Now, a good place to start is by thinking about what you can see, the colours that are used in the pictures, and how the pictures make you feel. Okay, just to give you a little bit of help, I've set out my ideas in a chart like this. So I've written similarities here, and then I've drawn my line, and I've put differences here, and I've drawn a line across the top. Now, in similarities, I've said that I can see the sky in both pictures. I can see buildings in both pictures. There are people in both pictures. There's a boy on the front cover and there's men at the coal mine. You might be able to come up with some different similarities. That's great. So use your own thoughts where you can. For differences, I'm just going to give you an example of one difference at the moment. And I've written, the front cover is bright, the sea is sparkling and blue. The coal mine is dark and grey. Now, you might want to tell me how the buildings look different. You might want to tell me that even though there are people in both pictures, how the people are different in both pictures. Okay, pause the video and have a go at these questions now for me. Now, there's one last question for us to have a look at today, and it says, are the people in the picture men or women? And why do you think this is? Okay, so what you need to be thinking about here is looking carefully at the people, deciding whether the people are men or women, then writing in a full sentence, I think they are men or women, and then tell me why. So you need to be using that magic word, because don't forget, big elephants can always understand small elephants. Let's make sure we get that spelled correctly. Okay, Once you've had a go at your work and it's all completed, don't forget to take a photograph of it and send it to me on the dojo, and I look forward to receiving everybody's ideas. See you soon.